Welcome to the Insider's Safe Place for Men podcast show. Because every male survivor deserves hope, healing, support, and a BMW. And here's your male survivor, leadership coach, and hypnotherapist, Thomas Edward. Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody? Hey, welcome once again to the Safe Place for Men. All right, and this is the Insiders Podcast. All right, crew, it has been a while since I've kind of, checked in with you guys. And as some of you guys know that pretty much I had to go back home, right? And you guys know the whole story, with my mom and, in her 90s. And then, over a year ago, it's been over a year ago, she had the brain surgery because she had a tumor or whatever on her brain. And she's she's a tough lady, and she survived that. And they put the titanium mesh, whatever, to cover that spot of the skull that had worn away from a injury accident she had like 20 something years ago. And then they took out the tumor and all those different type of things. But, as she is up in health, it's like as she gets older, when you're 90, she's still going, but when you catch the simple stuff like pneumonia, that can be hard, on you when you're at that age, your immune system. So it takes a while to recover. So, so that bout that she had with the pneumonia, unfortunately, she was like in the hospital. This was when she was over in Maryland for over 5 or 6 weeks, right? And because they didn't do anything, with her, in other words, they weren't keeping up on the therapy and stuff, her muscles and stuff atrophied, right? And so, when my brother brought her home, she couldn't walk. And we're like, oh my God, what were those people doing, right? And it's like, elder care is always an issue, right? And so I applaud those individuals, those nurses and those things that really do a good job and do care about the elderly and taking care of them. But, this group, they were horrible. They were horrible. So then when he brought her back home, she wasn't able to walk. So, we had to put her in another rehab place. And, she's having an even harder time now, because now she can't walk. And so trying to and doing the physical therapy. But anyway, so I had to go back home, and you guys know how that is for me. And so while I was there, I kind of did some recordings while I was there, whatever, on my phone as, I'm driving in and having to walk around the place, once again, of course, where the abuse, and then meeting some of my perpetrators, who had kind of denied, they did deny that they actually were part of the sexual abuse. I call it ring that took place when I was younger. So what I'm doing is I'm just sharing with you because while I was doing this, I recorded, just some of these things, my thought process, what was going on. So, and I'm going to share them with you. I'm just going to be vulnerable. And one of the reasons I'm sharing them with you, and I think I even said this as I was recording it, I often get asked the question, like, when will this ever end? Well, and I tell people, well, when you're no longer here, or unless, like me, you get hit by a car and you have some type of traumatic brain injury and it's not there anymore, but it's still there. It's in your body, the way that, we respond. And so I want to share this because even though, I've been coaching, survivors for over 20 something years, but I just want to let you know out there that sometimes just pieces of it, stay with us, and we're continually processing and working through these things. And, as I was going through this, hindsight now, I'm thinking about this. I'm so glad that I did the work, right? The hypnotherapy, the different stuff, because when I got to some of those places, I was able to handle it so much better and respond in a way, I'm going to say, that was more productive, for me. So that's why I kind of want to share this with you. But hey, I am now back in California after 2 days of, just horrific traveling. It was one of those times where you get to the airport, you're sitting there, the plane has been delayed for 2.5 hours. They say, okay, we're ready to go. You get up and stand in line, and then they say the flight has been canceled. Oh my God, and it's because the pilots, whatever, had timed out whatever, so they're not allowed to fly. So you're just like stuck there like 9 o'clock in the evening when they say the flight has been canceled. And I'm like, this is the time I'm like, thank God for apps, right? So you pull out the apps and you hit whatever Motel 6 or whatever, and you do your reservations right there after they tell you there's been canceled because you're going to have to stay somewhere. And it's like, I am not sleeping on this airport floor again. So, at least I was able to do that. And it was interesting, right? Because I had the app on my phone, and it's like you can see the prices actually tick up, right? Because after I did mine, as soon as they said that, I checked in just like 10 minutes later just to see, and the prices had like gone up like 50%. It's like, wait a minute, this room was just 100 and something. Now it's $256 because everyone's trying to get a room, right? So I said, thank God that I had the apps and things on my phone, that and Uber and all the different type of things. So be prepared when you travel, right? So if those things happen, and this happened like twice on this one for me. So, when those things happen, it's great to have those apps on your phone. So I'm just going to share some of this with you guys. Make sure you go up to the website. As you notice, I got more stuff up there. And for those of you that are interested, hey, the digital magazine, the Safeplace for Men digital magazine hits, I'm going to say, the inbox on September. When was my birthday? It's September 2nd, right? So that's my birthday, September 2nd. So that's where we're launching. It's going to be launched there. And so the first one is actually complete. We had some contributors who contributed. We've got, quite a few different articles there. We had some person who contributed. You'll get to meet Josh. He'll tell you a little bit more about his story or you'll hear more about his story in sibling abuse. We had an opportunity to actually interview Scotty once again, and he shared some things with us there, which was great. Everyone loves Scotty, right? And so I think he was voted like whatever the number one and whatever interview people. He has a great energy to him, right? And it's just fun to be around. So if you guys ever come to some of the workshops and stuff, you might have an opportunity to meet him. So talked about that, talked a little bit about different therapies. I think MDR or EMDR was the one that we discussed in this issue of the magazine, and just different type of stuff, impact of doing assessments, because I do coaching, right, and showing how we use assessments actually to help us to measure our growth in whatever issue that we're dealing with. So a lot of things there. So, go up to the website if you want to subscribe. So there's 3 quarterly issues, so that's 3 per year. Every 4 months it come out. It's only $29.95, right? That's a couple of lattes, Starbucks lattes, right there, and you'll have more and more information there. And we're also working on doing a retreat. Now, this is what I found out. I found out that there are quite a few of you in Ontario, Canada, that actually listen to this podcast. There's over 100 of you guys out there in Ontario. And so I want to let you know I'm working on actually doing a retreat in Canada. It might be somewhere close. I think it's Bowen Island or something like. Anyway, looking into it. So if you guys up there in Ontario, Canada, Vancouver, whatever, if you want to be a part of this and you're interested in this, I need you to let me know, right? Because I'm not going to go forward, right, and put the deposit down and stuff like that unless I know that there's enough guys up there that you want to meet together for our weekend retreat. So please send me information. And even if you're up there, let's just say you're up there by, Washington State, where I used to live, or Oregon, or whatever, California, because it's only a 2-hour flight, and you're interested and you're like, hey, you know what, Coach T, I would come if you did a workshop in Ontario. Bowen Island, up in Canada, right? So those in Canada and over on the West Coast, if you're interested, and you don't have to be there too, you can be in other places, please let me know, and let me know soon, right? Because we're trying to set this up. And I like to do retreats and stuff like when the weather, is kind of okay, so it's not freezing or it's not too hot. And that's the kind of nice thing about Canada. It doesn't get too hot. But if you're interested, just shoot me some emails. Say, hey, I would be interested. Whatever, I can send you the information and we can start working on getting that retreat set up. But I got to have at least 10 guys that are willing to do the retreat. Okay, so with that said, I think I took up enough time there. What I'm going to do is, now remember, this was recorded on my cell phone, so I hope the quality of the sound and background noise, I'm going to try and use my software and pull out as much of the background noise and stuff so you can hear me, what was going on. But like I said, this was the process that my mind was going through during this time of having to go back home. And see, even as I just talk about it now, it affects you, right? So I'm starting lowering my voice, and it's like, it's not like my, I'm gonna say my bubbly whatever self, but it's like, going back home. And for me, that means something when I say that, because of the sexual abuse and where it took place. All right, so here we go, guys. Feel free to listen, and just walk around if you're podcasting or working out. You just get to hear my thoughts, just being vulnerable here. All right, guys, here we go. Okay, Safeplace family, here we are. So got off of the airplane here in Chicago and got my rental car here in the truck. Well, actually not a truck, I guess it's a car, whatever it is. Actually, it's a Rogue. It's a Nissan Rogue. And been driving for a little bit, getting ready to enter. Man, this just feels so, say hard, but just challenging at times. The weather's great here. I mean, there's been some rain. Everything is green. So if I'm driving here on the highway, you can see the cornfield. So that's great. You can see water, right? Compared to California, man, it's nice. It's really, nice from the perspective of it's cooler. So that's great. It's not triple digit here. Probably 80s. And so that means in the evening it'll probably be down in 60s, which is great, which is good. Man, there's just so much going through my mind right now as I'm here driving, and I'm sharing this with you guys, and the reason I'm sharing this with you guys because even as a coach coaching male survivors, I just I want to help you. A lot of people say, when will this ever be over? If you're thinking about, the aftermath, the effects, whatever, of the sexual abuse, and but there, like we said, there are times when there are things that like trigger you, and then this whole trip. I mean, I'm here in Illinois. Maybe not because I really want to be, but you guys know the situation with my mom and her health. She survived, of course, the brain surgery over a year ago, but she's, I think, 90, so she's just getting to that point where, every little thing that you have, pneumonia or whatever, just, you get a back seat, because of your age and just your immune system and all those different type of things. And it's just these ambivalent feelings, it's like, yeah, you try not to tear up here. It's like, yeah, you want to see your mom, you want to be with your mom, but it's like as I'm driving here, passing some of these places and heading into town, whatever, to see her, I just have this. It's kind of the gloom, dark cloud part of overcovering you, right? It's just like, coming back into the environment, coming back into the place where, the abuse took place. And even though, that was, 40 something, whatever, years ago, it's just like as I'm driving here, it's like moving into the cloud, the cloud area. It's like you got kind of sunshine on the outside, but it's like you see the rain, the thunderstorm clouds as you're coming into the area, and it just feels so ominous. Um, every time I have to come back, to this place just to visit family and those different type of things. I feel it for a while, and I even know for me, even still having worked through, just a lot of the issues. It's like I just have a certain tolerance level for this place. Like, if I'm here for like more than 4 or 5 days, it just weighs my soul down. Yeah. Oh wow, look, I haven't seen that in quite a while. That little town there. I remember in college actually driving through this area all the time, and yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think part of it also has to do with, this is just one of those small, also towns in America where there's not a lot of stuff going on. Let's just say diversity-wise, and I also remember, which is still here. The racial tension and stuff is here. I'm sure that adds to it also. When I think about that as a kid, and just having to put up with those things, and knowing that a lot of those attitudes are still here, I'm sure that probably, plays into me also not wanting, to be in this area, or the ambivalence of it's like, yeah, you want to see, some of the relatives and stuff. You want to kick it with them, have a great time, have some conversations. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's so many of us out here that deal with this when we have to go back to the places of where the abuse maybe occurred for us, the city, the town. And I know it's going to be even harder because, I have to go back and visit the house, the house where a lot of those things happened. And I mean, because of the I'm going to say my hypnotherapy training and working through some of the issues through that, as I've shared with you guys before, I think it's going to be a little bit easier, or way easier, because of that, having worked through that. So that'll be, kind of great to see, how the hypnotherapy has actually helped me to work through those issues. And it'll be kind of neat because then when I get back actually to the house, that means that, we'll have an opportunity to just kind of verify, if it's a good therapy resource, at least for me. I know it may not work for everybody, but for me, for myself, and for others, and I know it's worked for others because I've used it in working with others. Man, it's just like right now, gosh. It's like right now I can't believe I'm recording this so that other people actually hear it, but I think it's just part of us processing and going through this journey, and one, just being vulnerable, even as a coach, and allowing just others to experience what you're experiencing, as a coach. And maybe that's, what makes what I do relatable, as I'm working with other survivors. So, that there's someone, the one that you're working with has actually experienced these things. And so it's not someone just giving you theory in a book, but it's someone, who's actually lived this. And I think that's part of it. For me, that's important. That's important for me, as a male survivor coach, for my clients to realize and understand this. I might be able to, empathize with some of the feelings and things that you are experiencing because, I go through them, continue to go through them, And so then that way we all know that we are not alone. Okay, guys. Well, I'll share more as this trip goes on. I mean, if I use this for the podcast, there'll probably be a lot of this. So, you can just kind of walk around and listen to it, because I'm just going to share with you kind of in the moment what's going on for me. But that's kind of what's going on for me now as I'm, getting closer, to the city. I just kind of got this ominous feeling of, this was the place where, a lot of the abuse, took place, and, just this heavy feeling, and inside of me it's just like, God, how long do I have to stay here, right? If I could, if it was possible, I'd just fly my mom to where I am and just, hey, just live with me. I tried that once, but she wasn't up for that. She wanted to stay here. But you guys know also, I've never shared with my mom about the sexual abuse, and I've shared with you guys, my reasons for doing that, and and I share with you how oftentimes as children we hold stuff in to protect the adults, right? And I realize for me that's just one thing that I've done. Maybe I've chosen to do that just because of the circumstances in my situation. But I can relate. I can relate with those survivors out there also who might be in the same situation where maybe you've shared, if you want to say the secret, the abuse narrative to certain individuals. But there's some places you just haven't shared it because of the ramifications, that it carries, if you do, and you like me, you're protecting a loved one or someone, because inside you just, because of the way that you grew up and the stuff you had to deal with, you just felt like, wow, just to put one more thing on that person's soul, it's too much. And that's kind of where I am, understanding where I come from, the childhood and things that, we lived through. It's just like, I've just made the decision at this point with her being 90. It's just something that, God, it's just something I don't want to break her spirit more, her soul more. So it's kind of like, and I remember Dr. Lisak asked me, he's like, what will you do when she's gone? And, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Is that at the point where I'll feel so free that I'll just, just let it all out and, take numbers and names and whatever. I don't know. But that's where I'm at, guys. All right, guys. So until I record again, that's kind of where I'm at. All right, guys. Recording this with you guys. Here it is, day 2 or 3. No, I think it's day. Got what, 4 days here. Yeah, so like actually day 2, I guess it is, and just kind of tramping around the area here in this little, well, I guess it's the second largest city, but it's rural actually in this area in Illinois. So you see a lot of cornfields and stuff, and man, so I've got this kind of house in front of me, guys, here, this dilapidated, house. It's kind of, oh, hey, look, James, there's that tree. The tree is falling down, and wow, hitting part of the house there. And I think it's been not condemned, but my brother locked it up because there was black mold and stuff, whatever, in there. But man, just walking around, oh wow, it's kind of cool to hear all the sounds. Got the birds and whatever chirping around here, crickets and stuff. I mean, I can just remember, man, this place as a child, and catching lightning bugs, those different type of things. And we live kind of in this forest area, so I mean, man, oh, look at this. Oh yeah, this trail. I remember this trail Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, this brings back memories. Right. This trail here. This is where that neo-Nazi person shot me. Right. So he shot me in the leg. He said he was out hunting black people that one day. Wow. Man, I remember that. Wow, that's pretty cool. Oh, man. There it is. That house. The house where a lot of the abuse took place, and I have to say that my reaction to it is a little bit different this time than it was, you know, last time. And the last time, it was just, I remember even doing this in the hypnotherapy sessions, actually with my teacher, my college professor, and how this house and what it represented for me, and just ambivalent because this is the place, like, where the sexual abuse took place for so many years, and kind of looking through the window here, and it's like, there's those colored walls. Man, I remember those colored walls, and I just think about how they affected me for so many years when I would move into places or rent places that would have that same color wall, and there would just be, I'd be actually climbing the walls, subconsciously not understanding, like, why do I hate this place? What's going on? And it's the color, right, of those walls, and what it represented for me. But now actually being here, I'm going to say, and having experienced and gone through the hypnosis, the hypnotherapy work, it's like I can take this all now, and like I said, the ambivalent feelings, like, yeah, the abuse took place here in this house, in this place, but then there were also good memories, right, that took place here, that occurred here, and so it's not all bad. It's like, putting it all together, and realizing that it's a part of me, it's a part of who I am, and yeah, there's good stuff, like anybody. There's good stuff and there's bad stuff, and actually being able, I'm gonna say, to kind of celebrate it all in that way. Man, I'm just thinking to myself now how much work it has taken to get to this point where I can be here at this house, and yeah. I mean, I am, like I said, it's just weird because we're gonna have to tear it down. That's the reality. We're gonna have to tear it down. But when it's gone, it's gone. The physical stuff is gone. But like I said, the memories, good and bad, are still with me. So yeah. Hey James, look at that over there. That's where the old chicken coop used to be. Yeah. Yep, that's where, wow, this stuff, I mean, so if for you guys don't know that, like, when we were growing up, we had our own, like, little, farm area, not like a big giant farm, but we raised our own food. And so we had, we had chickens, we had turkeys. Of course, we grew all our stuff. The people next door, I think they had some horses and cows, those different type of areas. So even though we weren't that far out from the city area, we're far enough where we could do those things, which just made it so much, easier when you think about, trying to survive, to be able to grow and can your food and those different type of things. Yeah. So yeah, there's this place. It's funny how stuff always seems so much smaller, right, when you get bigger. Even though I'm walking this property and those different type of things. I mean, as a kid, it seemed like it was so big, right? And now as you're older, it seems small. And you know what? I'm gonna say something here. Even for myself, and it's, I think as you work through things, well, I know that as you work through things, the issues do become smaller. And I think, like, now as I'm here in front of this house and just walking the grounds and stuff, like I said, where, I'd say probably 85%, whatever, of the sexual abuse took place for all those years, it's smaller now for me because I've worked through it, and I want to say this from the bottom of my heart for all those guys who've come through the program, for all the guys who have gone through the workshops, wherever we're in wherever we were, whether we're in New Zealand or whether we're in Sacramento, whether we're in Seattle. I just want to thank you guys because you were part of that process for me and working through those issues. And that was one of the reasons I love coaching you and being with you, because it's like I said, band of brothers. And it's like, we're all doing the work. I'm doing the work there, even though I'm coaching and facilitating, right? And so you have helped me. And I'm realizing now as I walk this space, because of so many of you, like I said, we've been doing this for 20 years, but because of so many of you, this now seems smaller to me, right? Because the more that you work on it, the smaller that it becomes. And I think about some of us out there that it's a big issue for us because we haven't been in places where we could work through it, where we can have support while we work through it. And so for us, there's still gigantic, humongous mountain in our lives, or they seem that way. And so I just really want to encourage those, I don't know if you're listening to this, if this is even making any sense, come to the workshop, start the program so that the issues for you can also become smaller and smaller. Okay, all right, guys, that's it for day 2. We'll check in again. Okay, guys. Oh, man, now this has been a rough one. I totally did expect this. So here I am. I'm in Milwaukee. And so this one just kind of hit me. I wasn't expecting this at all. So, okay, so when I got here, there was a specific person in my life who's actually one of my perpetrators. And, it's one of those people that you've confronted before, but then they deny it, right? And so, you figure as long as they deny it, it's okay. I don't really want to have anything to do with you if I don't have to. So I haven't seen this person, I don't know how many years, maybe 30 years. And here's the thing, though, I wasn't expecting on seeing this person. I hadn't planned on reaching out or visiting this person. So what happened is, me and my brother, we get in the car, we go see one of my cousins, and as soon as we get to my cousin's place, he's like, hey, you guys, I want to take you over to see so-and-so. I was like, okay, that's cool. I haven't seen whatever this part of the family for years, right? So we get there, we get to their place, I walk through the door, and, great to see the other people, but then this other person comes. It's like one of those movies where the person comes looming from behind the pillar or column, whatever, and there that person is. One of my perpetrators. And I just, guys, it's not like I froze, but, it was just in my mind. It's like, what the hell are you doing here? Right? And it's once again where you feel like you've lost control, like someone else is controlling. Let me make sure I don't get hit here while I'm walking on the street. And I just like, man, you know what? And it was like, as I was looking into this person's eyes, there was this kind of, like, I know what you've done. I don't know if you remember, what you did. Well, I know you did because you denied it, but it's like, what are we going to do, right? I'm not going to create a scene here or whatever. I wasn't even expecting to see you. And it's just like, it was interesting because during the time that I was walking on the street right now, I'm going to have to go back. Hopefully it'll be time to go, but, the rest of the family, they're all sitting down and talking with each other. But what I noticed was that like with he and I, there was not really much conversation going on, right? So everyone else was talking with him and some were talking with me, but there was hardly any interaction between he and I, right? He and I. And I don't know, guys. I guess as I started learning more about his life after what he had done to me and kind of looking at where he is now, this is just weird. I actually started feeling sorry for him. It was almost like one of those, one of those situations where you feel that however life worked, it'll never equate what someone has done to you, concerning the sexual abuse. But at the same time, you just look at kind of like the stuff that's happened to them in life and you just feel like there was like a piece of justice or, that the things maybe that they experienced in in life, that there was some type of, recompense. And it was like, as, I was just listening to some of the other family members just share with me what happened to him and just the stuff. I actually just started feeling sorry for him. I'll never equate this. I'm going to say the stuff that I've had to deal with, mentally, psychologically, from the sexual abuse. But it's like, man, it's like seeing, I don't know. I just felt in some way, if you want to call it karma or karmic justice, whatever is taking place. And I'm going to tell you guys, I don't know, there was a moment in me there was a moment or time here in me that I'm going to say just granted more forgiveness, not for him, but for myself. That just kind of said, okay, yeah, here we are, again. And so whether you still deny it or not, it's like, I'm letting another piece of this go. For me, whatever, if you like say karma, whatever comes up for him, but for myself, I haven't. And I just feel a little bit lighter, I think. Of course, you're probably saying, hey, as I'm walking the streets here at nighttime in Milwaukee, it's like, well, how much peace did I have to find? Yeah, I did get another little piece of peace. And it's like, what I'm saying is, as we work through these things, you just never know how sometimes those pieces of peace are going to come. And for me tonight, it's been, seeing that person again. Like I said, their karmic justice, I've just decided to forgive a little bit more, a little bit more of that process. After tonight, will I see him again? I don't know. I know I'm gonna, because of my mom's health and stuff, I'll probably be here in another couple of months. Like I said, I don't have to make the effort to, to hook up and to see this person again, but I have a feeling they will be there in the future. But this is the moment that I'm at right now. I'm not going to go. I'm going to go with it. Whatever is going on inside of me and processing this. Like I said, there's just a little bit more now that is granting a little bit more of that piece of, forgiveness, even though the person hasn't even asked for it. But it's part of me letting go of that so I can be even freer. So this truly is a process, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. So I'll, put this on the podcast if I decide. For those that want to hear it, like I said, it's probably going to seem like a bunch of ramblings, but I'm just sharing with you guys what's going on inside my mind at this point. All right, guys, there you go. So that's what was going on with me last week when I was there, and I hope that maybe like I said, just sharing pieces of this with you, the process, what was going on through my mind. Maybe some of you can relate to this. Maybe some can, but it's just to show you that as survivors, as we're working through the issues, and you just never know what's going to come up because of that. And that's why often, we get upset when people are like, just get over it. Well, what do you mean just get over it, right? And so there are just so many facets to this and working through the issues. And that's the thing I want to say that's really important as you work through the issues. The reason it's important so that when these times do come, the way that you respond to them, hopefully it's better than you maybe would have responded to them in the past, or they don't send you into this downward, spiral, whatever, of just depression, for, weeks or months or whatever. Is, as less amount of time is spent there because you can actually work through it and you can process it. And I believe that's what this represents for me. Being able to do that. I mean, I think about, years ago before working through the issues and, doing my whatever, psychology degree and hypnotherapy and stuff. I mean, this would just send me off, and it could be like a month or so where I was just in this depressed state. But now it's like, as they come up, I can actually deal with them. I can talk with them and process and work through them. And then for those of you that know the ANT technique that I use, I was totally using that, as I was working through these different type of things. And a lot of you have said that has been a great technique that you have used that have taken the coaching program. And so, I was using a lot of that during this. All right. So I hope that helped. I know I went way over 20 minutes, but like I said, that was just the process of what was going on. And I don't know, if it was helpful, send me some email, let me know. And maybe we'll do a little bit more. I'm trying to do also where we have some, where I've got some live coaching sessions where this is going on. And it's hard because I know people, it's being vulnerable, but then if you know that somebody else is like listening to what you're saying, that can be difficult too. So there's not many people like, record me, Coach T, as we go through this. Some of them, if you guys have heard Mike, he was one of those who allowed us to do one of those. And so those of you on the Insiders podcast, you get access to some of those, and they are quite enlightening. All right, guys, have a wonderful, hopefully cooler weekend this weekend. Once again, just thank you guys so much for sharing this time with me. Thank you for allowing you to share a piece of my journey. And like I said, for those of you that are interested in the workshop, I want to put it together. But like I said, because I have to put the deposit and stuff down, I need to know. It's like, hey, Coach T, we want to do it, right? So I have to get some commitment there. So if that's you and you want to do some work there, like I said, possibly, like I said, up in Canada is the place that we're looking at the retreat, or you might even do it in the Seattle area. I don't know, but somewhere up in there. Just let me know, right? So we can go ahead and start planning it and putting it on the schedule. All right, guys, until our next time, hey, be safe. Realize there's someone here who cares about you, someone here who wants to help you. So don't be afraid to reach out. If you've been listening to this podcast and going to the website for I don't know how long, it's like start moving toward healing. It's time to start doing something about this. And if you feel like coaching might be something that's good for you, coaching with the online courses, right? Feel free, check on the, coaching programs there. Just find out what we have to offer. Right? Some of you have done the tiers. You're on the third tier. You're like, wow, this is just for doing the third tier stuff. It's quite a bit. It is, right? In the full coaching program, man, a lot of people are just blown away. They're like, ooh, I got to take a breather. But they're just so glad that they did it. So anyway, however it works for you, I hope I get a chance to at least hear from you and possibly to even work with you. All right, guys, until our next time together, hey, make sure to be safe because you're in a safe place for men.